Hey everyone, we finally made it to the last day of the challenge. Feels good, right? Before I jump into today's page, here's a quick flip through of what I did for the first 6 days. You might notice that I changed things up a bit when the reference photos were vertical, and also I went back to making a pencil sketch first just to get a cleaner, neater illustration to work from. But overall, I really tried not to pressure myself too much to create something perfect. My main goal was to experiment and play around. Though, to be honest, I probably could have thought a little more about my color choices before diving straight into painting. So for today, just like on day 1, I'm starting with sketching the values I see in the photo using brush pen markers. I'm keeping it loose, just blocking in the darks and lights as I read them. And then in the next 2 sections of the spread, I'll mess around with the values a bit by swapping them or pushing them in a different direction to see what happens. It's kind of like doing a little brain exercise for your eyes. If you've tried this challenge too, even if you're watching this month from now, not in August, I'd honestly love to hear how it went for you. Did you enjoy it? Was it frustrating at first like it was for me? Any happy accidents or weird unexpected results? For me, the first 2 days were definitely the most frustrating, but once I got past that, I started really enjoying it. I think my favorite so far must be the one with the geese, and today I'm pretty excited about this cute little owl. Maybe I just need to draw more birds, because apparently I get way too happy when I'm working on them. And speaking of challenges, I also started enjoying my messy mixed media thing, which is kind of shocking because it's basically my perfectionism's worst nightmare. I don't remember which video I mentioned this in, maybe it was the Apple one, but at the end of July I started another personal challenge. It's a 31-day mixed media challenge in an A4 sketchbook. The idea is to fill an entire spread every day with something playful. And yes, I realize how ridiculous it sounds to say I have to make myself play with materials. But the reason I'm doing it is because even though I can see a big improvement in my sketches compared to last summer, they still feel kind of stiff. I try too hard to make them pretty, which is fine, that's one of my goals, but I also want them to feel more expressive with more variety in texture and materials. So I've been pulling out supplies that have been collecting dust on my shelves, the ones I usually avoid because they are messy or expensive, or I just haven't figured out yet how to use them in a way I enjoy. Anyway, I got distracted a little as usual. But what I was trying to say is that I'm slowly figuring out how to bring more of those materials into my regular sketching process. I don't know exactly when or how it's going to happen, but I'll definitely share my results and thoughts here. Today these marker sketches are taking way more time than I'd like, mostly because the dark marker is almost completely dried out after this week. Maybe it wasn't that new to begin with, or maybe this paper just isn't great for markers. It probably soaks up more ink than smooth paper that's made for them specifically. Either way, here I am trying to squeeze out every last bit of ink I can and still make something work. For the second sketch, I'm making it even more simplified than the first one. Each subject gets just one value. The tree is dark, the owl is medium, and everything in the background is light. That's it. I like simplifying things like this. I like the minimalistic approach, so this part, sketching with markers, I'm secretly enjoying the most, even though this dried up marker is kind of annoying. There is something really satisfying about finishing a piece in just minutes. I feel like all the drawing and painting I've been doing over the last couple of years is slowly leading me to a place where I can make something beautiful, at least in my eyes, with just a few brush strokes or simple marks. And honestly, isn't that the dream? Well, for me, it definitely is. For the third sketch I kept it pretty simple, same idea as the previous one, but I changed up the values. I went with a dark background, kind of like it's night time, made the tree a medium value and kept the owl light. I'm honestly not sure if it's even possible to paint the owl the way it looks in the reference photo but still have it be a light value, because it's definitely not a snow owl. But that's what I decided to test out, and that's why I picked this one to do in color later. I started with a pencil sketch first, just because right now I'm really enjoying working this way, especially for this challenge. Lately I've realized this approach actually helps me get better results when sketching on location, which is usually a little nerve-wracking for me. You know, being surrounded by strangers, sitting on the ground, or even standing awkwardly. Not exactly the same comfort as sitting at my desk at home. And honestly, I have no idea why it took me years to even try doing a pencil draft first and then adding paints or colored pencils after. So many people start that way right from the beginning. Maybe it's because I saw so many amazing illustrators going straight in with pens or markers, no erasing, and they'd say it helps you let go of perfectionism and just accept the mistakes. And sure, that did help me in some ways, but my results were still awful, like to the point where I just didn't want to go outside and draw at all. I'd end up drawing at home most of the time because no matter how much I practiced outside, I still hated the outcome. I think that's where it gets tricky. You don't want to blindly follow every tip, even if it comes from artists you admire. I'm not talking about the people who tell you this is bad, this is good, do it my way. That's a whole different red flag. I mean when someone gives genuinely good advice, like draw with markers or paints right away, and it does help, but you still have to check in with yourself. For that artist, maybe drawing people was never a big problem, they just felt shy doing it in public, or maybe their main struggle was perfectionism, so going straight in with pen was exactly what they needed. But for me, I have a bunch of different challenges to work through. Their methods solved one problem, but made others worse, and eventually just made me give up for a while. So the point of this long ramble is try different systems, different ways. Just because something is old school or not trendy anymore doesn't mean it's bad. If you've been doing something one way for a while and you feel stuck, switch it up. There's no rule saying only realistic art is valid, or only abstract, or only childlike. Try classical methods, try something loose and messy, try doing prep work, try going in completely unplanned. And if anyone puts down another person's art style, just ignore them. They are stuck in their own little box thinking there's only one way to create. For me, doing a careful pencil sketch has helped me feel a little more confident and like my drawings more. And now behind the scenes I'm experimenting with a really messy mixed media approach. Who knows, maybe that'll take me somewhere minimalistic or super realistic or something totally different. The hardest part is just getting out of my own box and actually trying something new. But I'm working on it. And finally the painting part. I'm starting off by mixing up some brown paint and watering it down so it's not too dark. I want the tree to sit in that medium value range, but if it ends up too light, that's fine, I can always go back in with more layers. I was planning to add a few layers anyway, just to build up that nice bark texture. I don't want the tree to look flat. After a few days of working on full-page illustrations, when the references were vertical, it feels so nice and chill to only be working on half the page for this one. I'm not rushing anxiously through it like I accidentally did on day one of the challenge. Now I'm just taking my time, building up the layers, knowing it's not going to take forever to finish this sketch. I'm adding in details, but I'm still keeping it pretty light, since this is more of a study than a full-on finished piece. What always amazes me, and you'd think I'd be used to this by now, is how every single time I do one of these 7-day challenges, it starts the same way, with frustration and resistance. Those first couple of days, I'm honestly a little mad at myself for even starting. My brain's just like, why are you making us do this? We don't like it. And yet, every single time, by the last day it shifts. I end up just peacefully enjoying what I'm doing, even if the final result isn't exactly what I imagined. But it doesn't really matter, because the real win and most valuable one is this shift in my mindset. That resistance is gone. My brain's like, okay, this is actually safe and it's actually kind of nice. So because of that, I can keep practicing this skill after the challenge without having any sudden waves of procrastination, which for me are usually just resistance in disguise. So when I started painting the owl, instead of adding a lot of white to the brown mix, which I don't usually like to do because white paint almost always changes the color in a way I'm not going for. So I just watered it down like I usually do, and then while the layer was still wet, I went in with a clean brush and lifted up some of the paint. Before that, it was looking more like a medium value, and yeah, it could have shifted once it dried completely, but I decided not to risk it and just lightened that first layer right away. After that, I moved on to mixing this really deep dark bluish color for the background. My original plan was to use it as kind of a night sky or maybe a faraway forest backdrop, and then layer some dark green for the leaves that are closer to the owl but still in the background. I remember both of those colors show up as a dark value if you check them with a black and white filter, but then I thought, it's just a value practice sketch, why overcomplicate it? So I just went ahead and filled in the whole background with that black-blue mix, same watered down consistency as always, so it probably would need another layer anyway. And while it was still wet, I dropped in the green paint right on top, so it blended in naturally. That way I wouldn't have to go back later to darken the leaves, because they are already sitting over a dark background. Once that was done, I added a few more layers to the tree and the owl just to bring in more depth, a little extra color variation and some texture so it wouldn't feel too flat. And then I wrapped it up with some final lines and shading using my Paint Gray pencil. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the video, and if you've been doing this challenge too, let me know how it's been going for you. Have you noticed any changes in your work or any little wins along the way? Did you like doing that quick value exercise? And if you want to share your work on our art Instagram community, tag TR Sketch Club as a collaborator so I can feature it. Just make sure your account's public so I can actually see it. Thanks so much for joining in, have fun creating, and I'll see you in the next one.